Hey guys, Les from Future FX here. I wanted to go through one specific feature of the cost averager software here for you today. Just let me share my screen. Okay, I'm going to explain this feature through a little bit of a backtesting here. I'm not going to go through any of the other settings at all, except for the time parameter settings here. Now we've got the start hour and minute and the end hour and minute. Now what they do is, in this case, 1 hour after the market open, the software can start trading. 9 hours after the market opens, it will stop taking out initial trades. Now, it can still open up extra cost averaging positions, but it can no longer open up any initial trades. And then this is a feature I wanted to talk about, was the close all hour and minute. Now, I don't really ever bother with the minutes, but the default setting is 11. And what that's going to do is, so it's going to stop taking out initial trades at 9 hours. And it's going to have a 2-hour window until 11, where it can still take out the extra cost averaging trades and hopefully get them all closed as a profit. But if it can't, at 11 hours after market open, it's just going to close all the current open trades, and you'll take whatever loss that incurs. The idea is, to take a small loss to prevent a potential larger loss. And the reason I use 11 is that that's when London opens, and if you're going to trade into the London and New York sessions, the risk of more drawdown increases. Okay, so first backtesting. I'm going to backtest all those settings, but I'm not going to use this feature. So still going to stop taking out initial trades at 9 hours after market opens, and it'll take out, it'll open up to 8 trades in order to try and close out them in profit, and then it'll stop taking them out. And in this case, the only time I'll ever take any real loss is if I hit my equity protection, which I have set at $500, which this is a $10,000 account. So that is a 5% equity protection I have set there. So let's kick it off and we'll check out the results. Just on the graph here. I'll just pause it. I won't make you watch the whole back test. So it'll be like time lapse for you. Okay, guys, this so far is about 2.5 months worth of back testing. And, you can see the result isn't great. We've hit that 5% equity protection twice. And right about here, we're about 7 1/3% down. So after 2.5 months of trading, we're over 7% down. Okay, so far, if this is when you'd started, you wouldn't be having a good run. It wouldn't be looking good at all for you. Let's see how the rest goes. So we've nearly finished the back testing now. It's 6 months worth of back testing, July through to June. Just January through to July. That's what it is, but exactly 6 months. And as I mentioned before, that was over 7% loss for that first 2 months. So if you had started here, you had a terrible 2 months. And what I like to see in backtesting is consistent results over the whole time. The reason being is that, the results are going to be good, but your own personal experience when you start using the software is going to depend on when you start. If you had started here, you've had 2 losing months in a row, you're more than likely going to decide not to use the software here now. And that's what you would have missed out on. Again, and I would fully understand if I used the software and lost 7% into the first 2 months, I'm probably not going to want to use it myself. But that's the risk with this scenario. Now, there haven't been many losses. There's only been three times in 6 months where it's taken a loss, but they were big losses. They were 5% losses, and they were all grouped together here, which just makes for a bad period. It must be almost finished. And in 570 trades, 570 trades in 6 months. So we're looking at about 100 trades a month. But, we've made just under 18% profit. And we've incurred a maximum drawdown of 11.49%. Okay, so that's fairly large drawdown. That's not the sort of drawdown you could use if you're on a prop account. All right, so back to the settings, and I'm not going to change anything, except I'm going to add the close all feature for 11 hours after market open. And I'm just going to whiz through exactly the same back testing, and we'll see what the difference is. Now, remember in the previous one, without using the close all feature, we had 2 losing months straight up. So this is just the end of the first month, and we're about $30 in front. Okay, so it hasn't been a good month by any means. We've only made $30, so not much different to break even, but that is a lot better than a loss. Let's just see how the second month goes. Okay, so we're probably about 2 months into the back testing here, and we're up over 4% profit now. So in that previous back test, the first 2 to 2.5 months, we lost 7%. And now in this scenario, the first month was break even, but then we've made good profit the second month. So instead of having 2 bad months in a row, we've had 1 break even month, which isn't good, but you haven't lost money, so it's definitely not bad. And then your second month was good profit. So, in the previous example, if you had started in January, you probably would have given up after 2 months. In this example, if you had started in January, you wouldn't have been happy after 1 month, but you wouldn't have been sad. And then after that, you've made profit. So this, in the second scenario, this person would probably continue to use the software. Whereas in the previous example, after a couple of months and having taken that loss, they probably would have given up using it. But anyway, I'll let the rest of the 6 months continue out, and I'll get back to you then. Okay, that's the 6 months done. And the result was 15.5% profit. So we're looking at 2.5% less than that first backtesting example. But what I prefer about this one is that there were no losing months. Even this bad run here, had started here, that month would have been break even. If you started here, that month still would have been about break even. So no matter when you started, you've had a decent personal experience. There's been a lot more losses, but they've all been much smaller. This one here is about a 2.5% loss, and that's the biggest loss, individual loss at any time. So that's one reason I'd prefer these results, even though it's a little bit less. The other is the maximum drawdown was 4.5%, whereas in that previous example, it was nearly 11%, I think. So less than half the drawdown, which is a big thing for not only a safe trading system or strategy, but also the smaller that drawdown, the less stress, the more at ease you will be, the more confident you will be with the strategy. So that's about it, guys. That's what the close all feature does. Now, so that's what the close all feature does. You most of the time, I would say you would want to use it, particularly if you don't know much about trading, and particularly if you also want as hands-free an option as possible. So this back testing was done, simulating hands-free, no manual input at all, and those would have been the results. Now, if you do know something about trading and you don't mind having a bit of a manual input, then what you can do is not use the close all feature, but instead manually make sure you get those trades closed out around about the same time. That will be more beneficial. You'll make more profit because you'll be able to pick exactly the best time to close those trades to minimise loss, maximise profit. But that is only something you would do if you didn't mind having a daily input and you did know something about trading. Other than that, stick with using the close all feature, and as you can see, the results are still great. All right, guys, hope that explains it all. I'll talk to you again soon.